Welcome to the GCSE English Language Paper 2 Question 5 Guide to Writing to Argue and Persuade. Arguing and persuading are very similar. When you write to argue, you're trying to get the reader to agree with your opinion. You'll use clear and forceful language to get your point across, and you'll use some facts and figures, for example, to back up your points. Persuasive writing tries to get the reader to do something, such as support a charity. It does this with techniques including emotive language that aims to make the reader sympathise with the cause. There are many rhetorical devices that you can use when writing to argue and persuade, and we'll come on to those later in the presentation. We'll come on to the language features you'll use to argue and persuade later, but just briefly, persuasive and argumentative language are known as rhetorical techniques. And for example, these may be rhetorical questions, lists of three, hyperbole or exaggeration, antithesis or contrast, and parenthesis. And really here, the parenthesis is about using direct address to communicate directly to your reader. To help you remember the most important techniques used to argue and persuade, think of da forest. D, direct address. A, for alliteration. F, for facts. O, for opinions. R, for repetition. Another R for rhetorical questions. E, for emotive language and exaggeration. S, for statistics. And T, for triples, better known as the rule of three. You'll find more information on the da forest techniques in your lesson handouts, and if you can't find them or they're not to hand, you'll find them in the lessons 3 to 4 folder in the half-term 4 section. Now, let's take a look at persuasive and argumentative language in action. Here's a short extract from a mocked-up article. We'll read through it and we'll look at the language features the student has used. Why bother with breakfast? Straight away, you can see here that the student has used a rhetorical question for their headline, but have also reinforced it with alliteration. Eating breakfast improves mental well-being and physical performance. Here we have some factual information. This is a well-known and incontrovertible fact, and yet 20 million of us Britons regularly skip this essential refueling opportunity. So here, not only do we have facts, we've also got statistics used to back up the argument. Why is this the case? Are we too busy commuting, getting the kids ready for school, blow drying our hair? Firstly, the student has used rhetorical questions here, and a third here, but also in this sentence, they have used the rule of three. Are we too busy commuting? 1, getting the kids ready for school. 2, or blow drying our hair. 3. As we move on towards the end of the article, the student finishes with 2 sentences. Allowing your kids to skip breakfast is reckless and irresponsible. You are not providing them with the energy they need to face the day. The student has used direct address using the pronoun you and your. And here we've got reckless and irresponsible, 2 examples of quite exaggerated, a hyperbolic, emotive language. Here's another example of persuasive and argumentative language in action. This plan to give students across the country more homework is shocking. Can it really be fair to set us even more ridiculous and unnecessary assignments? It's as if they don't think we work every hour God sends already. So throughout those opening sentences, the student uses some hyperbole, exaggerated emotive language. We've got ridiculous, we've got unnecessary, we've got shocking, and also this line saying that all students work, all the hours that God sends. However, the student also reinforces this hyperbole and exaggeration with a rhetorical question, engages the reader, gets them thinking, and then they finish by using repetition of join me to really emphasize and hammer home that they want the reader to join the writer in their quest for less homework. You must also structure writing to suit your purpose. Different purposes will need different structures, so you'll need to think about a structure that will help you achieve your purpose most effectively. You'll see this when you move on to looking at the different formats, for example, articles, letters, leaflets, essays and reports, and obviously and speeches as well. However, regardless of the format, there is a useful three-point plan you can use to help structure any argumentative or persuasive piece of writing. Number one, start by making your point of view as clear as possible. This will help give your text, whatever it is, a clear direction. As you move through your points, you could also present an opposing argument and explain why you think it's wrong. And then use a contrasting argument to explain your own viewpoint. Of course, then you'd eventually move on to some form of conclusion.